Greetings. Every now and then I come to contact experience. And it take a long time before I make contact videos because it takes a long time to process. And when these contacts and upgrades or things happen, it takes a while for the vessel to adjust more or less extreme contacts. Mine having to do with downloads. So I ask and then I receive the stream. It's not readable. Like when it begins, like imagine several movie channels streaming through you and you see a lot of stuff happening and passing you, but you can't really explain it. So what they do is they leave the machine on, and they can put you in a hologram, they can put you on a ship. I mean, this is a holodynamic universe. So the latest download that I got as in what we choose to be chosen, by making the choice to be exceptional, by making a choice to be extraordinary, but that's up to us. So nobody is the chosen one. Yeah, everybody wants to be that, but that requires work. That requires things that you're able to demonstrate and show after receiving a download and making it actually applicable, such as in producing good seeds, you know, sowing them, and then look at the crops and your yield is super high and all the farmers agree, yeah, that is good crops. It's about the physical. It's not about I know that we have on the internet, we have to look out for, you know, these scams and frauds and things that bring forth nothing. When you get into, and that has to do with my download and also partially the personality that I have created for this vessel. As I'm explaining this is, it's like if you've been, say, scammed by a car sales option. Well, it's obvious when you heard a storyline of a car, it's a used car, and a week later this entire thing falls apart. It wasn't even put together well, but you didn't see it. So you take a picture before, you have a recording of the guy who sold you that car, and then after, well, that is evident. The same thing will happen with, I assume, with governmental structures. If you have a system or a business or a corporation that is so compartmentalized that if one of the cells start to go corrupt, the other cells can take notice because there's no connection. There's no connection with the whole. And we're coming back to this holistic principle of connecting all the cells, all the corruption flowing up. We need the females now to clear it up. Strong women coming forward, seeing the detail, mentioning the detail, and stuff comes up to the surface so people go, oh, we didn't even know this is going on in our own corporation, hence country. But this is for business and politics. This is not what I'm here for to explain. Is this wonderful contact that I had is, I woke up in my house and I think it was a holographic copy of my house, not my house. So they said stay within that hologram. So what they do is they weave a hologram around your living quarters so you're not so shocked waking up in a different environment. But I know they were around me. I saw, it's kind of very trippy. I was in my living room and then I saw somebody peek around the corner, in the corner of my eye. I knew somebody was standing there, not that tall. And when I looked, the being was like, whoop, moved very fast. Like this is outside of time and space, so they can move instant. But they have to move with consciousness, as an interfacing with consciousness and communicating. It's highly complex, but it makes a lot of sense to me. Yep, of course, you have to train yourself and train the mind to understand what's being relayed. So also, I was informed. I went outside, I touched a tree, and I saw a big eye and this big orb, and the orb had a crack on the side where the roots go into the soil. So there's a crack in the consciousness of that tree. So the tree is not fully healthy, so I have an idea with my photon sand and things that I want to do with the root to heal that tree, but because it was shown to me in the vision very clear. So that's one point. Then when I channel and my things explode, you know, first I'm thinking, oh, this is very dreamy in a dream state, and the rational mind is trying to belittle oneself to break it down. And I mean, look at it. Let's hope the camera can actually focus in on that. You see the detail. I have a video where I'm actually showing, I can do this live anytime, and it makes no difference. It's once it's on, it's on. So what I felt is the veins popping out here and here, and I had pressure on the back lobes, left, and frontal lobe, left. Like more pressure. They needed more support than this side. This side was running, and the brain was, I can feel it balancing it out. So the blood pressure kind of balanced it out. And you know when you hold your breath and you do this, and your head gets red? I felt like kind of like they're pumping me right now. So I was explained that all the systems are being amped up and the download begins, and as long as I can hold it, and if I can hold 4 to 6 hour downloads, I probably have to sleep 2 to 3 days, which actually occurred. I'm still in a recovery phase where I sleep most of the day and most of the night, as if I had no sleep. So I know I was under the influence of something. I also woke up feeling very sedated, as in very peaceful, very calm, realizing a lot of things, that in order to receive those downloads, you have to be really holding that consciousness and go past your trauma, or be able to switch, like my partner, my twin flame, Krista, which is amazing. She is younger than me and can switch into hemispheres. When I was 30, I didn't have the capacity to switch like that and just drop knowledge coordinates. I mean, she channels star constellations, longitude, altitude thingies, and number codes that we look on maps, but you can't know that. And then there's stuff that shows up, and you can try to do stuff by free association, by random. You won't hit the mark. As in, when the message comes in, the message announces something pertaining an area, whether it's a star cluster group or something on Earth, and then the coordinates will, as in longitude and altitude, define that close by, or in the stars it'll be right there where it was described. A mentalist couldn't do that. That's impossible, and it's not called for or asked for. So that is amazing how somebody can switch it into that. I believe also that people have natural high DMT levels that go up, that bring that up. They are very sensitive, they are empaths, like I am. And so here's the download. The download is that I gotta check my book, so I have my cue points on my channeling, because not all can be translated, but some. So I have to do with the consciousness that on Earth they call it Zakiel, as an angel, but it's not an angel, it's a consciousness. Then the translation was in a photon. The photon to me is this ball of light, and it has an eye, an all-seeing eye in it, and from it emanates like language codes. So the explanation was like the photon is actually a holotron. Holotron is a holodynamic blueprint for possibilities in time and space according to the collective consciousness. So it's a super program, which is the super program, which we're here are learning to master that. The secret of re-energy is within that super program. It's kind of what that looks like with see with the eye, and then it has this coronal field, and then these messages emanate from this thing. That's what I saw. I will paint a picture of how I saw it. It was like in technicolor, super rainbowy color, this eye, and it's all consciousness, and it is absolutely pure. It's in a very high state. It's the distortion comes from the mind and misusing actually what's given from upstairs. So also, I'll probably write a book on this technology. This Holo Tron, the photon, is also what people call here photon massless. It's not a massless particle. It's like saying jumbo shrimp or military intelligence. It's either military or intelligent, but you can't have opposites describing a massless particle. Or even when it's wet, it's dry. No, it is a particle. It has mass, yeah, but on a very, very, very higher vibrational level, and that's called photo. And science will find that out. I'll probably sound ridiculous right now, but that's what I got in the download, that this photon has within itself a photoplasticity or holodynamic plasticity, as in it can fold and mold and become matter in any form that you can find and write and rewrite the programs. You design that. And there are divine programs, there are undivine programs. The divine programs are sustainable, simple. The undivine programs are not sustainable. So there are divine scripts that are like units that are all over the place, and if you put them in place, they will do something for you, which will appear like magic once we know that. That is the holodynamic aspect of a photon, which they call Holo Tron. That Holo Tron has a holodynamic matrix. That is like a program template of you can do with that. It has no limits. So it's past spaceships and quantum hologram. Its worlds can be created from these dynamics, and they come from source and not from the sun. They come from central sun. There are thought directives and amplification and modulation within that holotron. Is also, this holotron it's in itself a miniature hovering stargate. So some of the orbs you see don't get so stuck on archonic entities. Archons are electric, photons are not. And archons steal false light, and they can't maintain, but they need to come in as thought forms. If you watch that movie Another Life, the series on Netflix, you understand how artificial intelligence tries to steal, but they can't misuse things that they can't sustain, so they destroy. Maybe that's their purpose, or maybe within that show they don't understand, but that makes them actually vulnerable to their own destruction, because that's not conscious expansion. So from that on, I know that, let's say, these holotrons have a consciousness, as in Tesla developed a machine and it worked. And then there were people that tried to steal and replicate what he built. And they push the button and the machine doesn't turn on, and nobody understands. This has to do with the power of the Magi and the inventor and the sorcerer, as he sources divine energy with a source code that allows him to give the allowance, to give consent to that this may work. That makes it workable. If more or less we've been doing that on Earth, this is not given. You have a machine or a generator, it works in your hands, it works in your presence, you give it to people, and all of a sudden they begin to create an undivine, non-believer, non-spiritual system attachment to it, and it stops working. In quantum physics, they have already observed that, and if you don't believe in a thing, you actually destroy what's there. So they did that with kids in school with plants, where they put labels on it and the kids were like, I don't believe in you. Another plant, they didn't even care about them. And another plant, I said, I hate you. All the plants responded. All the plants that were giving loving words and creative words will grew bigger. The ones where you attach the labels of I don't believe you, I'm not feeling you, I don't like you, I hate you, kind of died. It grew prematurely and died early. So we have an ultimate influence on the particles that we observe. There's nothing massless here. So from dimension 1 to dimension 12, they also told me, it's like I have a team around me that explains, you have dimensionality as in physicality. We make it all ether in spirit realm because we can't touch it from here. That's like saying the fish are etherical because you can't dive that deep to connect, but we got diving suits and we found out, oh, they're very physical, they're very much there. So interdimensional means different vibratory states and frequencies, and we're here to learn that. So a few beings on this planet have the opportunity, as they lean out into the crazy realm, to learn the mastery of photonic energy, which is the solution for the planet that will rectify the information, meaning the relaying the correct information of light back to the planet, because it is, for those beings, they don't interfere, but it baffles them. Like they kind of stand back in like shock how we have a planet that supplies us with everything that we need, and we manage wars and greed and compartmentalization and corruption and let it corrode and watch that, and everybody runs in hordes. It is baffling to me that somebody can have $300 million as, let's say, an actor in their bank account, but you don't have a Stargate in your backyard, or any technology going into that aspect of that dimension that you want to develop your consciousness and expand. And this is coming back now. That's why the feminine energy is being recalibrated, and the original light is actually being recalibrated. So we will be in the future where we will be, and add a story to that download. I say, imagine you're an anthropological research team. You land on this planet 4,000 years in the future. New York is gone. Washington is gone. Malibu, that coastline, there's a tectonic plate where there's a crack where this earthquake that it slid off. So like 8 to 10 miles in, everything is actually underwater. So we find remnants of ruins. And there's no more governmental structure. There are small communities and community clans, and they're all sustainable. They're all working together as in community clans, community conglomerates, community funds. This entire system that was here, that was built, is gone, and the modalities in the exchange has been transferred into energy and energy transfer on a level where money becomes something else. There will be an energy exchange still taking place, but we'll transform that, and there'll be peace on this planet, and that is as in a probable timeline that was channeled that can actually take place. So, and much more. I'm still processing the download, as in here to facilitate towers that actually attract and project those holotronic aspects. And I'll have my own patent on that, because I have already my own names and words. And there will also be a new development as in consciousness for orgone, or whatever they want to call organic energy by Wilhelm Reich. I will add a video on the completely new idea by photonically activated orgone, which will be called forgone, and the magnetic realignment of the axis of the body. So we're working also on the ascension bed. I call it the cell well unit. So things are coming into play, as in holographically they're being displayed into my brain, and then I scribble it on a piece of paper and plot it out, and then I find the pieces from Home Depot to technical research facilities that, can you produce this for me? And they're like, we've never actually engraved anything like that with a laser. So I'm like, can you do it? They're like, okay, but we need 2 companies for that. So I'm calling 2, 3 or 4 or 5 companies to create something that actually is not being mass produced, and that will be the new cosmology, as in the new industry, the new consciousness, as in we working on original memory, cell reset, cell communication, and bringing you back online to your original self. Yes, and as in the contact took place, the shocking thing was this. I was told, like, hey, the longer you hold the download, the more days you have to sleep, because your vessel is not equipped that much. You need to train your brain so your body can update to that. Meaning, like, self-aligning software is like when you train your brain in the right and divine mechanics that are within you, your body can upgrade. Meaning, when you use the right use of will bring forth the right body as an avatar structure. It'll adapt to what you're bringing in. So also that will also be one thing of anti-aging processes. If you work in a divine and joyous will with creation, helping to fix this, and everybody is here of service, you will look younger and stay younger longer, because you're in your purpose. I mean, you're staying in your energy stream. Those who age prematurely are leaving the energy stream by choice earlier. So we're here to also inspire and wake you up and to remember who you are. Everybody on earth is not from earth. It's not just your star seeds and you're not. But there's some kids that want to go to school, and there's some hardheads that think, throwing rocks, in a glass house and not going to school shows the world that, I can do it without you. That's the old Luciferian rebellion. Has nothing to do with Satan. Has to do with people rebelling against the divine plan. and thinking they can do it better, but it'll die out. See, meaning if there's corruption out there or people against those who work in the divine purpose, you won't have following, your channel won't grow, your networks will wither, because this is kind of like an unhealthy cell, won't find a communal cell that will bring forth healing. If they refuse the healing, they'll basically be banned from the community. So if you're negative, evil, condescending, and coming with destructive things for no reason against things that are blooming and blossoming, you'll die out, you wither away, and in 10 years a lot of YouTube channels will disappear. YouTube also has guidelines when this is also channeled by higher consciousness. For those who offend the others with the higher authorities, there are committees that watch that, and they have the authority at a certain level to erase channels completely without discussion when certain things, you know, don't stop to go in a certain direction, as in the community heals itself. See, as you have too many fleas on the dog, you know, then you find, you know, modalities and herbs and foods that it's not attractive for the parasite to be in the fur of the animal anymore. And so will Earth actually heal itself and ascend, and we're going through that process right now. And they're very proud of that we going that far. As also Nassim Haramein mentioned, everybody has a ship. Everybody has a spaceship, everybody has a scout ship, everybody has an extraterrestrial body that they can wake up to if they fit enough. Everybody. It's all choice and realizing who you truly are. The mind can create a lot of things if you want to believe that and sit there and not see anything. But if you make the choice that there's a key and you want to turn the key, the door will open. Seek and the answer shall come. Ask and knowledge shall be revealed. But you have to know what to ask. There's a divine purpose of what questions need to be asked when you're in those realms. So I looked up in the sky last night and I saw this ship that's like, the size of a children's football field, hovering over my house, like to the right. And they can stop holograms, they can stop time, they can freeze time, they can pause, they can weave in and out. Like, for anybody who would think from the military point of view that you can chase something physical that is actually past time and space, and past the sensory perception, even past remote viewing if they want to, because a lot of remote viewers do not know what timeline to scry, where they jump to, because we're not that smart yet. So if anything wanted to invade this planet, it could have been done in a nanosecond. We have nothing that no race needs that is of interest for anything. We are here developing our consciousness, emotional rehab center, and we are getting it straight, bringing our consciousness back, realigning ourselves, realizing who we are. And this is why many races are very, very interested in us, because we are, imagine, you are God's offspring. You are the offspring of the source. That makes you very interesting, makes your genealogy very, very important. And the program of genes, I haven't even begun to break down the holy aspects of the geometric sequencing of sacred geometry within the amino acidic and enzymic structure within this carbon-based carrier. Also, to wrap it up, I saw my body, and my consciousness was outside of my body, and I saw that my body is my puppet, actually. And I'm thinking I'm my body, but I'm not really my body. I'm the consciousness that runs this. Like, the consciousness is remotely non-locale controlling this. And once it's gone, this is not coming back. And when people want to debate incarnation and consciousness within the body, neurological science has proven, and you've seen it in the movie, I think, in What the Bleep Do We Know, there was a neuroscience scientist who, I think over 10 years ago, explained it for those who still don't understand it. Here's the case. They had a patient, they needed to operate in the center of the brain. But while the brain running, you'd kill the patient. But they could do it shutting the brain off, stopping the heart for like 5, maybe to 10 minutes. So they had to cool the body down. So when the brain shuts down and the heart shuts down, and you measure in the EEG no neurological response, no electromagnetic frequency, nothing is being transmitted. That means you are dead. There's nothing that can transmit to any cell structure that your cells are actually working. So this patient They cool the brain down, going to freezing temperatures. They cool the body down, and they stop the heart. You know, the risk factors also, if you can't bring the heart back, that patient is done. Very risky operation. So they had to shut the brain down, wait a minute for all the arteries, everything, all the blood, everything to stop. And then the brain was dead. Not a signal, not even microvolts, not even Tesla, nothing to measure. And that patient said, I was out of my body. I saw them cutting open my head. One dropped a scissor, described everything in detail, memorizes everything. And when he woke up, he came back and he said, where's that lady? Everything was memorized. And that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the consciousness can exist outside the body, as in the author exists outside the typewriter. The typewriter is just a crude body that is used to create a story that we give life to, and that is as you create your character profile, you design character aspects within this vessel, you learn the sequencing without knowing that you're actually sequencing your entire life. So consciousness is non-local, and when you die, it's not over. It's a process of where does this consciousness go. We have many science fictions that show that, like in the movie Caprica, the series where the Cylons, they are actually humanoid, have ships that they can wake up when they get killed prematurely with all the memory they had to the point they got killed. So this is the story of us told over and over and over again. And if you're interested in, like, you know, deeper meanings, watch all seasons of Caprica. It explains what happened before on our planet, and we're fixing this, and Earth used to be a super planet, but that will be told in another video. Thank you for your participation in conscious realigning, realizing the self, and I most certainly will see you on the flip side. And remember, you made out of the stuff that stars are made of. So what's the big difference? What's the mythological and what's the non-belief? Spirit is the software, body is the hardware. Peace.